My first question to you is, what makes the story of The Wheel of Time different from other fantasy series?
Oh, that's such a great question. First and foremost, we have to start with the source, Robert Jordan. I think, the books, 14 volumes, really tells us that we're in a new world. And remember, when you think about him as a writer, he's so eclectic, and he really pulled a lot of themes from Eastern philosophies. And what I love about it is we're able to take different cultures and blend them together, and really kind of sticking with the words that he has written and the details. I mean, that's what's really different. Also, we have the element of the female empowerment here. This is a world where the women wield the power. They have political, full power. They are able to make the final decisions on major events, world choices, and I think that is another element of specialness to the show, as well as characters dealing with moral ambiguity. What is right, what is wrong. Over here, our dark forces are, we understand them, we feel for them, just as much as the forces of what it's called good.
That's an excellent answer. I mean, I think Sanna's covered it there. For me, the idea that the world has broken, which is the central idea within Wheel of Time, which is that the world has broken and that we are 3,000 years in the future and yet we're in the past. It creates this amazing hybrid where you have cultures that shouldn't necessarily go together or don't necessarily go together that are melded together. So we see, I think, a portrait of a world redrawn. So we have in Kyrian, we have French and Japanese cultures that have merged into one style. So Sharon Gillam, the costume designer, created this kind of hybrid look between Japanese detailing and then French lace, and these deep blue colours that recall both cultures. And I think that's where the show is very different to other genre shows, fantasy genre shows, in that it has, because it's set in the future and the world has changed, we're meeting cultures and we're bringing in diversity in terms of the cast because of the source material. It's a genuine portrait of the world redrawn in a new way. So for us, in terms of the casting, in terms of where we look for new actors and where we try and bring actors from, it's incredibly diverse, and it's really important that it has that very international feel to the casting.
As you already said, the series is based on a large novel series. How difficult is it to put all of these characters, nations, storylines from the books into a series without leaving something out, forgetting something very important?
Well, that's why we have an amazing showrunner, Rafe Judkins, who is the primary writer, and he has an entire writing team. I mean, we have that support, and prior to filmmakers and producers coming on, they have to kind of sit with it and decide what to highlight. I think they did an amazing job, because what they really have focused on are the key themes of the Jordan books. So that we're able to touch upon all of that. As filmmakers, we come in, we get the scripts, and we make sure that we bring it to light in the best way we can. The decision-making of the stories are really within the writer's hands.
Yeah, echoing that, I think that the characters in Wheel of Time go on these epic journeys. They're not just, 14 books, 12,000 pages, 5,000 characters, but the central characters, Nynaeve, Egwene, Mat, Rand, Perrin, go on the whole journey. They go on these incredible journeys together. So it means that they are in very detailed, their journeys are very detailed, their journeys encounter all sorts of dark forces, whether it's the Forsaken or Dark Friends or, Trollocs. There are constant forces of antagonism, which mean that they have to make choices. And those choices are how we find out who they are and what they believe. And I think that's a really important aspect of Wheel of Time, which personally I love, which is that it takes on big questions. Wheel of Time takes on the big questions like, where are we from, why are we here, what do we believe in, and what are the forces that are going to obstruct us from what we need to do or what we want. Those are big the big questions in life, and those characters all have to face those questions. So for me, I love the book series, and I love the ambition of it. Yeah, yeah.
What can people expect from season 2, and how many more seasons are we going to see?
Well, season 2 is really a progression of season 1. There's going to be a lot of action, a lot of danger, peril. We're going to see the characters really struggle alone because they're all scattered now. So they each have to go into these new worlds that will be revealed in season 2. And we're going to find out, are they going to be able to make it? Will they make the right choice? Are they going to come back together? Those are the things that we're going to be able to really hone in on for season 2, which I think is really important as a whole of the project.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the characters are drawn in more detail in series 2 because they're a part. I think fundamentally, because Rand al'Thor has been declared as the Dragon Reborn, and we know that he is the savior and the destroyer of the wheel, he will become both our savior and our destroyer going forward. The forces of antagonism, the power forces are now moving around him. People either want to control him, be allied with him, or be against him. So series 2 starts to bring those forces into play. So we see everyone's moving, moving their position, forming alliances. We see the San-Chan arrive to take over Westland. So there are big political movements happening in series 2. There's a lot of adventure. There's a lot of conflict, huge battle sequences. Sana in series 2 has these epic sequences, which are, I think the biggest action sequences that have happened on Wheel of Time. Yeah.
And how many more seasons? I mean, there is a 3rd season coming, right? And are there any more planned?
Well, I think that the focus obviously is in season 2. Remember that there are 14 books. There's so much material. So, I think that we are looking forward to everybody seeing season 2 and enjoying it,
Season 2 is obviously, we're here to talk about season 2 because it's coming out, tomorrow. But season 3 is coming, we know that, and that's already plenty to think about.
Oh, absolutely, and that's exciting too.
In the books, the role of the dragon is quite clear and quite early, quite clear. But I think in the series, it's more like you don't know if is it all 4? Is it just one person? Is it Rand alone? Did you wanted to do it like this, or is it just what fans made out of it?
That was the choice of Rafe Judkins and the writing team. I think that their focus was their intentions were exactly what you see in season 1. I do love what they did, and we know that the fans greatly enjoyed it. That is where writers are very important in terms of the way they unravel that. And then of course there's the process that comes into our hands, which is just supporting that vision.
One last question. Do you all do your own episodes, right? Episodes you do and you do. And is there, for fans or people who are watching it, is there a difference to see? Like, do you have trademarks?
Thomas, who did an amazing job for the first 2 episodes. I came on season 2 as the producer-director, which my job is to make sure that the whole season feels like it's the right season and we're all together. However, we love having, and we bring in amazing directors like Thomas, who brings his own flair. One is supposed to feel the filmmaker, but we are loyal to the show and to the look of it. So we have to stay within the language of that and what has been done in season 1. And then it's my job to make sure that, for example, whatever Thomas does in one episode, that the director that did episode 6, that I would tell them, oh, this was done here, make sure we don't do that, and vice versa. Because when a filmmaker comes on, they're supposed to be focused on the scenes. But also, it can't look extremely different, right?
Right. I think we all serve the story. I mean, I think, as directors, we serve the story, we serve the script that we're working on. We try to be authentic to the Wheel of Time itself. We know that there's an incredible fan base watching every detail of this show to, you know, to make sure that it fits with what they imagined in the book. But the key thing with all of this is that your imagination is part of when you read a book. When someone reads The Wheel of Time, they imagine it how they imagine it. Everyone has their own individual image of how Rand looks or how Perrin looks. When you make a film, when you translate that to moving image, you have to choose one. And so often with filmmaking, we have to choose one. We have to make a decision, a choice, how Perrin's acts will look. That's a choice we have to make. And some people won't like that, and some people will like that, and some people will feel it's perfect and others won't. That's always part of filmmaking when you translate any literature onto the screen. The most important thing is that I feel, and I know that a lot of the team feel, that we're being as authentic to the books as we can be, because they're such wonderful material to work with. They're so detailed. He's so detail oriented, and he creates these worlds with such focus on how to differentiate these cultures, how to differentiate these characters so that they have real, genuine authenticity, and we try to honour that as much as we can. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.